Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to understand about the one of the famous floating point representation scheme, that is IEEE 754 representation. So in competitive exams like GATE, UGC NET or other engineering exams also, the questions from this IEEE 754 are very much asked. So you must know about how this IEEE 754 representation works. So we will take various examples to understand this representation scheme in this video. So let's start. So basically our aim is we want to express these type of numbers. For example, this is 40.5, which is a float number. This is also a float number. Float number why? Because it has this decimal point, okay, in between. It has this integer part and this is the fractional part, okay. So these are the float numbers. The same way, this is also a float number, although you can write this as 0.0. Now this is a pure float number, okay. And this is also a float number. So we have seen in our previous video that fixed point representation scheme can express these floating point numbers, okay. And basically fixed point representation can also express the integer numbers also, or you can say real numbers, okay. But this scheme has some limitations. What were the limitation? It cannot express very small and the very large numbers. For example, this is a very large float number. The magnitude of it is very large, okay. The same way, this number is very small because this exponent is negative. So this number will be something like 0.000 so on, okay. Then it will be 6710, right? So this is a very small number. So this type of very small or very large number, they cannot be expressed by your fixed point representation scheme in fixed number of bits, okay. Now we have also seen one of the floating point representation scheme in the previous video, in which we said that we can store the floating point number with the help of these 4 fields, okay. The sign bit for mantissa, for exponent, then we will store the mantissa, and then we will store the exponent. So if you have not seen this previous video of the fixed point and this floating point representation scheme that I have discussed here, so you can find these videos in the number system playlist. You can find the link of the number system playlist in the video description below. So the limitation of this floating point representation scheme, we have also seen that there is a portability issue. So portability issues can be something like one of the CPU designer can take this representation where it is storing mantissa in 8 bits, exponent in 6 bits. Other CPU designer can take, let's say, 7 bits for the mantissa and let's say 7 bits for the exponent, okay. So again, it is of 16 bits, total 16 bits, 1 bit for here, 1 for here, 7 for here, 7 for here. But now the portability issues will come. For example, if we are making a code in this CPU in which we have the 8 bits and 6 bits reserved for the mantissa and exponent, and if we want to carry that code to the another system in which we have the scheme of 7 bits for mantissa and exponent is of 7 bits, then that program of the first computer which is compiled on this first computer, it may or may not run on the second computer in which we have the different floating point representation scheme. So different vendors or different CPU designers can have their own different floating point representations, right? So to sort out this portability issues, the IEEE organization came with a standard, and it is known as IEEE 754 representation. So that is a standard or a protocol that is used by the many of the CPU designers to represent floating point numbers in their CPUs. So now every vendor will use that particular one fixed IEEE 754 representation scheme to represent the floating point numbers in their computer. So now there will be no portability issues. So let's discuss this IEEE 754 now. So before going further, let me tell you, IEEE is basically an organization which is known as Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. So basically this organization publishes many scientific journals, and it also proposes various standards. For example, in computer networks, there is a protocol for the Wi-Fi, that is IEEE 802.11, which tells how the connectivity between the various computers will take place when they are connected by the Wi-Fi, or how the transmission of the packet will take place. So there are many other protocols which are also made by the IEEE. So basically IEEE 754 is also one of the protocol, or you can say a standard or a representation mechanism or a technique to represent the floating point numbers. That is how your floating point number will be represented or will be stored in form of binary bits inside your computer. It is told by your IEEE 754 standard mechanism, okay. And this mechanism was given by IEEE in 1985, okay. So before understanding this IEEE 754 with the help of various examples, let's understand some of the terms that will be used in this IEEE 754 representation scheme. Okay. So first term is, what is normalized scientific form? So you can see here I have this floating point number, and actually I can represent this floating point number in various other forms also. For example, you can see here I have represented this same number in these three forms. How? So you can see here I have written 9.76 into some power of 10, that is 11, right? So actually what I have done, if I shift this decimal here, okay, so it will become 9.76, and you can see that 3, 3, 6, 9 and 10, 11. I have moved 10, 11 to the left side, okay? So I have written 10 to the power 11, okay? The same way, if I shift this decimal here, that is 97.6, then I have to write into 10 to the power 10 because I have moved 10 decimal places to this left side. The same way I can write this expression. So you know what are these expressions called? So these expressions are called scientific notations. So these all three are scientific forms or the scientific notations, right? We have studied this scientific notation in our maths classes, right? Now here one important point to note is this first form. This is actually called normalized form, okay? So what is actually normalized form? So whenever there is actually a dot point and on the left side there is only one digit. So if I talk about this decimal number only, decimal representations, then on the left side of this decimal point there should be only one digit from 1 to 9, let's say, okay? Then that particular scientific notation form is specifically called as normalized scientific form or normalized form. Now let's take the example of the binary number, because in IEEE 754 representation, we are actually interested in this binary number only, okay? So here you can see, I can express this number in these three different scientific notation, okay? So here you can see, if I move this decimal here, okay, on the right side, so I can get 1.01 into 10 to the power minus 1. So as you know that when we move to the right side, okay, we use the power minus, okay, and when we move to the left side we use the power plus. As we know by the decimal examples also, when we are moving here, then I will raise some power of 10 in positive way, right? And when I move here, then I will raise the power in some negative way, okay? Same thing happens if the number is in binary form also, okay? Now if I move this decimal here, so I can write 10.1, or you can say 10.1 into 2 to the power minus 2, because I have moved 2 places to the right side. Same way I can get this, okay? So again, this first form is called normalized scientific form or simple normalized form. Now here also you can see this is the decimal point, and on the left side there is only one digit. Now in binary form, you know, only 0 and 1 can happen, okay? So here we have the bit 1. So normalized form in case of the binary is, we have a decimal point and on the right side we have the binary digit as 1, okay? So for example, we have, let's say, 0.01 into 2 to the power, let's say, 3. This is not a normalized form because on the right side of this decimal point we have this 0, okay? So for example, if it were to be like something 1.01 into 2 to the power 3, then this is a normalized form. Why? Because on the left side of this decimal we have this 1, okay? But here you can see this is not a normalized form. Why? Because if you treat this as 0.0, then on the left side we have 3 digits. We do not want 3 digits in the normalized form. We want only single digit, and it should be only 1 in case of the binary form, okay? So this form is only the normalized form. So in IEEE 754, we are interested in the normalized form with respect to our binary form, okay? So we will be talking about this normalized form in our IEEE 754. Now we have the other terms also, mantissa and the exponent. So basically what are these? So here you can see we have 2 examples, right? So here you can see this thing will be called as the mantissa, and the power of this 2, it will be treated as exponent. Same way, this total part after this decimal point, it will be called as the mantissa, and this 13, that is the power of 2, it will be called as the exponent. As we know in our these decimal numbers also, this power of 10 are called as the exponent, right? Now mantissa is also known as the significant, okay? So you can use either the mantissa or the significant term, okay? So I will use the mantissa in this video. So now let's take the example and see how the floating point number can be stored inside the computer using this IEEE 754. So basically this IEEE 754 has two formats to represent or to store your floating point numbers inside your computer. One is the single precision format and other one is double precision format. So single precision format stores your floating point numbers in form of 32 binary bits, okay? And double precision format, it stores your floating point number in 64 bits, okay? So the double of 32 is 64, right? Now single precision format says we have 3 fields. The same way double precision format also says we can store your floating point number in 3 fields. So single precision format says that the first field, it will be reserved for the storing the sign bit for the mantissa. Second field for the exponent, and third field will store the mantissa part, actual mantissa, okay? In the double precision also the same thing is there, right? The difference is that how many bits you are using to represent the exponent and the mantissa. So in single precision format, you can see we have reserved 8 bits for the exponent, and for storing the mantissa part we are taking 23 bits. But in double precision we are taking more number of bits for exponent also, for mantissa also. For exponent we have 11 bits, for storing the mantissa we have the 52 bits, and for the sign bit we have the only 1 bit, right? So your sign bit can be 0 or 1, okay? So 0 means your mantissa will be positive and 1 means your mantissa will be negative, okay? Now we have one another term that is used in IEEE 754, that is bias, okay? So here you can see in single precision format we have bias value as 127, and in double precision format we have the bias value as 1023. So basically this bias is a fixed integer value, okay? So in single precision format we will use only this number, and in double precision we will use only this number as the value of the bias. So what is this bias value and why we are using this bias value in IEEE 754? So basically I will be taking a separate video in which I will be telling you about all these things about the bias. So I will not be telling you much about this bias value in this video to avoid the confusions, okay? So we will just use this bias value while we will be solving numericals of this IEEE 754, okay? So basically I will tell you just a formula. This is the formula which is used to calculate the bias value. For example, if you are given some general representation other than IEEE 754 and you want to calculate this bias value, then you can use this formula, okay? So the formula is the 2, then the power is number of exponent bits minus 1, and then again you have to do minus 1. So for example, in this single precision format, how many bits are reserved for the exponent? We have 8 bits. So if I apply this formula, okay, so it will be 2, number of exponent bit will be 8 minus 1, then minus 1. So this will be 8 minus 1, that will be 7. So 2 to the power 7 minus 1, this is 128 minus 1. So basically it is 127. So in single precision format, I got the bias value with the help of this formula as 127, okay? So it will be fixed for the single precision format because it is a IEEE standard. The same way from the 11 bits, if I put here 11, I will get 1023 actually, okay? So this formula can be used if I have given some another representation other than IEEE 754. Using the exponent bits, I can use or I can calculate this bias value, okay? So now with this much of information, let's take some example to understand this IEEE 754. So here you can see we have the first question. The question says we are given a decimal number 14.75 and we have to represent this 14.75 in IEEE 754 32 bits floating point representation scheme. So 32 bits means we have to represent in single precision format, okay? So let's see how we can do that. So basically these are the steps which we can use to convert this 14.74 into the IEEE 754 format, okay? So the first step is we have to convert the given decimal number, that is this 14.75, into the normalized form, okay? And we will see what does this representation means, okay? So after converting your number into the normalized form, the second step is we have to find the biased exponent, okay? And what is biased exponent? So this is the formula, the true exponent plus the bias value, okay? And we have already seen what is bias value, okay? Now after finding this bias exponent, we can represent our given number into the IEEE 754 format, okay? So let's apply these steps on this example. So here you can see we are given this 14.75 number, okay? And our aim is we have to represent this in this single precision format or 32 bits format. So this field is of 1 bit, this exponent field is of 8 bit, and the mantissa field is of 23 bits, right? So first step is we have to represent this 14.75 into the binary form. So here you can see we have this form. So this bit is having weight like 1, this is 2, this is 4, and this is 8. Okay, so this is a simple binary form of 14. Now after point, we have this 0.75. Now for this 0.75, what you can do? You can just multiply this by 2. We have seen in this number system video, right? So after multiplying, we will get this one, right? And this one will be taken for the answer. The same way 0.50, that means this part will be again multiplied by 2. We will get 1.00. We will take 1. And 0.00 will be multiplied by 2. We will take 0.00. And this 0 will be carried here, right? Now for the answer, we will go from up to down and we will take 110. So I have written 110. So this is 14.75, right? Now you can put here many number of zeros also, but like they will be not so much useful. So you can skip them, right? Now we have to convert this form into the normalized form, right? So this is the normalized form. So here you can see what I have done. I have shifted this decimal here, right? So how many places I have shifted this decimal? I have moved to the left side 3 decimal places. So I have write the exponent here as the 3, right? So this is 1 point, this 110, then 110 into 2 to the power 3. So this is the normalized form, right? So here you can see this part is the mantissa. This is the mantissa. Then this is 2 and this 3 is the true exponent. Okay. And what is this? So basically here is the multiplier. So this is -1 to the power s. So for the time being, here you can assume what is s? S is the sign bit. Okay. So here you can see in this 14.75, what is the sign of this number? This is a positive number. So basically this positive number is having the sign bit as 0. So basically this is -1 to the power s is 0. So this will be simple 1. That is 1 multiply this, it will be simple this much only. Okay. So here you will not get so much clue of this, what is this s, but in the other examples you will get to know what is this -1 into s. Okay. So for the time being, you can just understand we have to convert in the normalized form. Now next step is we have to find the biased exponent. So biased exponent, as here formula says, true exponent plus bias value. So this is the exponent, right? And we have to add this with the bias value. So you know, in 32-bit floating point representation, the bias value was what? It was 127, right? We have seen. So we add 127. So I got 130, right? So actually in this exponent field, I will not be storing this 3, that is this exponent. I will be storing this 130, right? So this is actually called excess 127 representation. That means my exponent that will be stored in form of 8 bits inside this field, it will be more in terms of 127. That is, it will not be 3. It will be more than this 3. And by how much factor it will be greater, it will be added by 127. Then I will be storing. So it will be more. So in that term, I am using excess term, right? So the binary conversion of 130 is this. Okay. So it is a simple unsigned number. You have to take care. This is a simple 8-bit unsigned number. This is not a like 2's complement or something like that. Okay. So now we can store this here. Okay. In 23 bits, I will be storing this, and in sign bit, I will be storing the sign. Okay. So what I will be storing actually here, the number is positive, right? So it will be 0 stored here. What will be stored here? It will be stored, as I said, exponent, that is this 130, that is the biased exponent. So I will be storing all these values, right? And in 23 bits, I will be storing this mantissa. Now you have to take care how you have to store the mantissa, because mantissa is not of 23 bits here, right? So what you will do, you will first store this answer, right? Now in this side, that is on the right side, you will add extra zeros. Okay. So I have used dot. Dot means I have used or I have appended extra zeros. Okay. So you can assume that these are total 23 bits. Okay. So this is my this part. Okay. And these are the extra zeros. So basically my 14.75 field will look like this. This is 0. These are the exponent bits, and this is the mantissa. So this binary pattern will be stored inside the computer if I am using this 14.75, let's say, in my programming. Okay. So compiler will treat this 14.75 as this number. Okay, so this is the way how I can represent a given decimal number into the binary floating point IEEE 754 representation. So now let's take another example. For example, I have the same number 14.75, but this is negative. Okay, and I have to represent it in 32-bit and 64 bits. So everything will be actually same, just this sign bit will get changed. For example, you can see in single precision this minus I have kept here. This is 14, this is 0.75 as the previous example. Now I will convert this into the normalized form by shifting this dot here, right? Now the biased exponent will be this true exponent plus the bias value, that is 127. It will be 130, and this is the 130 in binary form, right? Now I will store here this. Okay, now here in the Mantissa I have to store the Mantissa bits. So these are the Mantissa bit, right? So this is 110, right? And now I will use extra 0. So I can write simple 00 and then 2 dots or 3 dots, simple 0. Okay. Now here as the sign bit, what I have to store? So here you can see that this Mantissa, or you can say this number, is actually negative. Okay. So that means negative sign is there. So for negative sign, I have to store 1. Okay. So this is the only difference from the previous example. So the binary pattern will be this one. Okay. Only 1 is kept here. All the remaining bits are same as the previous example. Now in double precision, only difference will be the exponent bits. Here it will be of 11 bits in case of double precision, and the Mantissa part will be increased to 52 bits, right? So let's see. Now this part will look like same, that is normalized form will look like same. So I am directly calculating the biased exponent. So biased exponent is this true exponent plus bias value. In double precision, as we have seen, bias is 1023. So I added this 1023 value with my 3. I got 1026. So I represented this 1026 in 11 bits. Okay. So these are the 1026 binary number, right? Now if I represent this in total 64 bits, how it will look like? So it will look like this one. So this is the sign bit, that is 1, that is number is negative. These are the bits for this 11 bits exponent, right? Biased exponent. Okay. And now this is my Mantissa. So my Mantissa will look like this one only, that is 110, 110. So 110, 110, and all the extra zeros will be appended to make it is of how many bits? 52 bits. So this is of 52 bits, this is of 11 bits, and this is of 1 bit. Okay. So my total number will be this one. This binary pattern will be signifying my minus 14.75 in double precision format. So these will be 64 bits. So as you can see, both these pattern in single and double precision format are different, right? So now let's take another example. So here you can see that we have this number, that 0.063, and this is a negative number. Okay. Now I have to convert this decimal number again in single precision, that is 32 bits floating point representation. Okay. So here you can see the integer part is actually 0. Okay. In the previous example, it was some number, but here it is simply 0. So let's see how we will represent this number. So again, we will convert this number into the binary form. So the integer part is 0, so it will be simply 0. Now this 0.063 can be converted to these bits. And how I have got these bits? So again, I have used these calculations. So I have again multiplied by 2. Okay, I have got these things. So this 0 will be taken. Then 1.26 is multiplied by 2. I got this 0 is taken here, and so on. Here you can see till this point I have got 0 only, right? Now if I take 0.8088 multiplied by 2, I got this thing, and this one will be taken for the answer. So same way, at last here I stop. So here you can see if I again multiply this 0.464 multiplied 2, I will get some 0.8 something, right? And again I will get 0, but after that I will again get 1. Okay, so you have to stop at some point, right? So you can stop, let's say, after 6 or 7 decimal places, right? So I have stopped here. Okay, you can move further also. The main thing is you should get some number of ones also. Okay, because if you stop, let's say at this point, or let's say at this point, there are no ones. Okay, so there is no point to stop here. So you can move further, okay, until unless you get some at least 1. Okay, so now I will convert this representation, total representation, in normalized form. So here you can see I cannot move to this left side because there is no 1, right? I will move this side, that is right side, to make it a normalized number. Okay, so if I shift this one here, Okay, so it will be 1.10 into, because I have shifted 5 decimal places to the right side, so I have used the negative exponent, that is -5. Okay, and this is the negative sign. So this is my normalized form. Now what is the next step? My next step is calculate the biased exponent. So biased exponent will be this true exponent, that is -5 plus 127, because I am taking 32 bits representation, that is single precision. So I got 125. Now 125, which is actually a decimal number, if I convert in binary number, it will look like this one. Okay, so it is of how many bits? 8 bits. In 32 bits, it is of 8-bit exponent, right? So now what is the next thing? Next thing is I have to represent this in total 32 bits. So here you can see my bit pattern will look like this one. Okay, so this sign bit, it is 1 because this number is negative, right? Now this exponent is these bits. Okay, this is the biased exponent of 8 bits. Now these are the 23 bits of the mantissa. So mantissa is this one, that is 0.10. Okay, so this 0.10, or you can say simple 10 is this one. Okay, and all the rest bits are appended as zeros to make it of 23 bits. Now there is one important thing to note in IEEE 754, that is we are not storing this 1 and this dot anywhere in this mantissa part, right, or in the other part also. So actually this point or this 1 is actually implied. It is assumed that here we are storing 1 point, this one. Okay, but we are actually not storing this 1 and point. We are saying that this is implied. Okay, this is assumed. Okay, so if you remove this dot, okay, if you remove this dot, you can assume that here actually there are total 24 bits stored. Okay, not 23 bits, they are 24 bits stored, but we are actually not storing, it is actually implied. So we are actually storing 23 bits and we are representing a 24-bit number in 23 bits. Okay, so this is actually a trick in IEEE 754 representation, which we will be understanding in our next videos. Okay, so this is how this IEEE 754 representation works. And now let's take one last example for this video, in which I will convert a binary pattern to the decimal number. Okay, I will do the reverse process. Okay, I will be given this binary pattern, for example, this type of binary pattern, and I have to get a decimal number corresponding to that binary pattern. Okay, so let's see. So here I've been given a binary pattern. Okay, and this is in 32 bits total. Okay, so you can assume this is of 23 bits, this is of 8 bits, and this is of 1 bit. Okay, total 32 bits, single precision format. And I have to find the decimal equivalent for this bit pattern. Okay, and you know that if we are talking about the IEEE 754 representation, that means this pattern is actually representing a floating point number. Okay, so I have to find that floating point number in decimal form, right? So basically I have been given this pattern and I have to get this decimal number, right? So I have to do the reverse process. So basically what I will do, as you can see in this example, that this number is actually 125, right? And I have to reach at this position, right? I have to get this actually normalized number, then I will get this thing, and then only I can get this thing. Okay, so in this process I have to do. So here you can see this is 125 and I want actually -5. Okay, so this 125 is there, which is represented by this thing, and I have to get -5. And I know that in 32 bits my bias value is 127, right? So from 125, how I can get -5 if I know that 127 is the bias value? So from this formula, you can see this formula is biased exponent equal to true exponent, that is -5 plus bias value. And what I want actually, now I want this -5. That means I want true exponent. So my formula will be look like now, true exponent will be biased exponent BE minus bias value. Okay, so in this example, what is the biased exponent? Biased exponent is 125 minus this 127. I can get -5, right? So after I got -5, then what I will do, I will somehow get this form. Okay, and after that I will get this form. This is easy to get, and then I can easily get this thing. Okay, so same procedure I will apply in our given question. Okay, so let's see. So basically my decimal number will be actually of this form. Okay, so this is actually the normalized form that we have seen. Okay, so here you can see my normalized form will be look like minus 1 to the power s into 1 point Mantissa into 2 to the power true exponent, and we have seen in this the previous example also. Okay, so actually my number will be minus of 1 point. Okay, now Mantissa will be what? So here you can see this is the Mantissa, and we have seen that we have did nothing with the Mantissa. Whatever we were getting in our normalized form as the Mantissa, we were storing as such the Mantissa part, right? The difference is only like these extra zeros will be there. Okay, that is not a big issue, but this 1101 is the same thing, right? Now into 2 to the power true exponent, I have written 5. So how I have got this true exponent? As we have seen that how I can get the true exponent. So basically this is the biased exponent. Okay, that is this biased exponent is equal to true exponent plus your bias value, right? But I want true exponent. So my true exponent, as I have told you, it will be equal to biased exponent. That means this much minus I have to do bias. Okay, that means I have to subtract the bias value whenever I am retrieving and I am calculating my decimal number. Okay, then I have to subtract from this biased exponent. So basically my biased exponent is this one minus bias value, and this is actually 131 in decimal. Minus 127, I will get 1 for this example. So here I have got 5 as the true exponent. Okay, now this is the actually normalized form. So if I have to just get rid of this 2 to the power 5, what I will do? I will multiply this by 2 to the power minus 5, and how I can get? If I move 5 places at this side, I can get 2 to the power minus 5, and then 2 to the power 5 into 2 to the power minus 5 will cancel out, right? So what I will basically do, so basically I can write this thing. Okay, that means I have shifted this point here 5 places. Okay, so this point was shifted here. Okay, and then this is like 11101. Okay, 0.0. Okay, and I am multiplied by 2 to the power minus 5 as I am moving right side. So this will cancel out and only this number will be remaining. So I got this thing. Okay, 0.00, and minus number will be there. Now this is a binary number. I can easily convert this to a decimal number. So after converting this to a decimal number, I will get minus 58. So this is basically 58. Okay, and this minus is this one. Okay, or you can write this as minus 58.00 for this one. Okay, so this is the floating point number minus 58.0 I can get from this representation. Okay, or you can say this is the representation for minus 58. Okay, in IEEE 754 32-bit representation. So this was all about the discussion of the IEEE 754. The main thing that you have to take care is whenever you are converting from a binary pattern to a decimal number, you have to subtract the bias value from this biased exponent. Okay, then only you can get the true exponent. And after getting the normalized form, you can get the number in the decimal form. Okay, and whenever you have the decimal number, then you want to store the exponent here, then you have to add bias value with this true exponent, that is 5 plus 127. Then you are storing the greater magnitude exponent here. That's why we are calling it as excess 127, true exponent plus excess of 127. Okay, so in the next video we will be discussing that why we are using actually the normalized form in IEEE 754, not the other scientific notation, what is biased, and why do we use actually biased exponent, and what are the range of the values, or the you can say smallest and the largest numbers that you can store in the double and single precision formats. And we will also see that the float values are actually not accurately stored or they expressed in the IEEE 754 representation, or you can say in general in floating point representation schemes. So what do I mean? For example, these are the two examples. If you run in your compiler, you will not get the expected answer. For example, you will be expecting that this will give you true and this will also give you true, but this will not give you true in both the cases. And after understanding this IEEE 754 representation in a better way, you will be able to answer these questions. So we will be actually dealing with all these examples, and we will seeing that why we are not getting the expected answer in these programming examples. Okay, which is actually related to this representation of the float numbers. Okay, but for understanding this concept, you must understand how IEEE 754 representation is working. That means you must understand all the examples which we have just discussed. Okay, and we will also take some of the GATE and UGC-NET questions based on the IEEE 754 representation. Okay, so there is a homework for you, that is you have to represent 0.6 and 0.1 in IEEE 754 32-bit representation. You can write the answer in the comment box. Okay, so if you have any comment, query, suggestion, please write down into the comment box, and do like and share this video. And if you have not seen the previous videos on the number system like ones, twos, complement, unsigned, signed number, and the other videos on the number system, you can find the link of this number system playlist in the video description below. You can find there, and do subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for the further notification of the videos. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.